Napoleon Bonaparte, a name synonymous with ambition, military genius, and ultimately defeat. But few know that this titan of history was commanding armies at the tender age of just 24. Born in Corsica in 1769, Napoleon rose through the ranks during the tumultuous French Revolution. His tactical brilliance, evident in early victories like the Siege of Toulon, marked him as a rising star in the French Republic. France, in the throes of revolution, was rife with opportunity for ambitious young men. Napoleon, with his keen intellect and military acumen, seized these opportunities with both hands. He quickly climbed the military ladder, his victories silencing any whispers of doubt about his youth or Corsican origins. The revolution had inadvertently paved the way for the rise of a new kind of leader, a man who would reshape the destiny of France and Europe. Napoleon's early successes were not solely due to military prowess. He possessed a charisma that inspired his men and a keen understanding of the political landscape. He knew how to navigate the treacherous waters of revolutionary France, securing powerful patrons and outmaneuvering his rivals. This blend of military skill and political savvy would become his hallmark. The stage was set for Napoleon's meteoric rise. France, exhausted by years of internal strife and facing pressure from external enemies, yearned for stability and strong leadership. Napoleon, the young general who promised order and victory, seemed to be the answer to their prayers. Little did they know they were witnessing the birth of an empire. The French Revolution had overthrown the monarchy, but France remained in turmoil. Napoleon, a staunch believer in order and discipline, saw an opportunity to bring stability to the fledgling republic. His victories on the battlefield, particularly in Italy, cemented his status as a national hero. The French people, weary of chaos, saw in Napoleon a beacon of hope. In 1799, Napoleon seized power in a coup d'etat, effectively ending the French Revolution. He established himself as first consul, consolidating his power and embarking on a series of reforms that modernized France. He centralized the government, reformed the legal system with the Napoleonic Code, and established the Bank of France. Napoleon, the revolutionary general, had become Napoleon, the emperor in waiting. In 1804, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French in a lavish ceremony at Notre Dame Cathedral. This act, laden with symbolism, marked the culmination of his rise to power. He was no longer simply a product of the revolution, he was its heir, the one who had brought order from chaos and established a new era for France. Napoleon's ambition, however, knew no bounds. He envisioned a France that dominated not just internally, but across the European continent. His military campaigns, a whirlwind of strategic brilliance and ruthless efficiency, saw him conquer vast swathes of territory. From the plains of Italy to the heart of the Holy Roman Empire, Napoleon's armies marched from victory to victory, redrawing the map of Europe in the process. The French Empire, under Napoleon's iron fist, had become the dominant force on the continent. Napoleon's military campaigns were a testament to his strategic genius. He revolutionized warfare with his use of mobile artillery, combined arms tactics, and a relentless pursuit of victory. His Grande Armée, a formidable fighting force, swept aside enemy armies with a speed and efficiency that left his opponents reeling. From the Battle of Austerlitz, a masterpiece of tactical brilliance, to the bloody clash at Wagram, Napoleon seemed invincible. Yet his very success sowed the seeds of his downfall. Napoleon's ambition, his insatiable desire for conquest, made him enemies across Europe. His continental system, an attempt to cripple Britain's economy, backfired, fueling resentment against French domination. Nationalist sentiments, ignited by French occupation, began to simmer across the continent. The Spanish ulcer, as Napoleon himself called it, was a constant drain on French resources and manpower. The Iberian Peninsula, embroiled in a bloody guerrilla war against French occupation, proved to be a quagmire for Napoleon's armies. Meanwhile, his invasion of Portugal, aimed at tightening the noose on Britain, further stretched French forces. Despite these challenges, Napoleon's grip on Europe remained strong. He had reshaped the political landscape, installing puppet rulers and forging alliances to secure his empire. But the cost of maintaining this vast empire, both in terms of manpower and resources, was taking its toll. The cracks in Napoleon's edifice of power were beginning to show. In 1812, Napoleon embarked on his most ambitious campaign yet, the invasion of Russia. He led the Grande Armée, over 600,000 strong, into the heart of the Russian Empire. The objective was to force Tsar Alexander I to submit to the continental system. Initially, the invasion went according to plan. The Russians, employing a scorched earth policy, retreated eastward, drawing Napoleon deeper into the vast Russian interior. The Battle of Borodino, a bloody clash that left both armies decimated, proved to be a Pyrrhic victory for Napoleon. He entered Moscow, only to find the city largely deserted and in flames. The Russians refused to negotiate, and winter was fast approaching. Faced with dwindling supplies, a hostile population, and the bitter Russian winter, Napoleon ordered a retreat. The retreat from Russia was a disaster of epic proportions. The Grande Armée, ravaged by hunger, disease, and relentless Russian attacks, was reduced to a mere fraction of its former size. Napoleon himself barely escaped capture, his reputation for invincibility shattered. The news of the disaster spread like wildfire, emboldening his enemies and hastening the demise of his empire. Defeated and abandoned by many of his former allies, Napoleon abdicated in 1814. He was exiled to the island of Elba, a small island off the coast of Italy. Though stripped of his power, Napoleon remained a potent symbol, a reminder of both the grandeur and the fragility of ambition. His enemies, however, had underestimated his resilience. Napoleon's exile on Elba was short-lived. In 1815, sensing an opportunity amidst renewed unrest in France, he escaped Elba and landed on the French mainland. His return, a daring gamble, sparked wild enthusiasm among his supporters. The French people, disillusioned with the restored monarchy, rallied to their former emperor. The 100 Days, as this brief period is known, was a last, desperate bid for power. Napoleon, determined to reclaim his lost glory, raised a new army and confronted his enemies on the battlefield once more. The Battle of Waterloo, fought near Brussels in June 1815, would be Napoleon's final stand. Waterloo was a clash of titans, pitting Napoleon's tactical genius against the combined might of the British and Prussian armies. Despite early successes, Napoleon's army was ultimately overwhelmed. The defeat was decisive, marking the end of his reign and the Napoleonic Wars. Exiled once more, this time to the remote island of Saint Helena in the South Atlantic, Napoleon lived out his final days, reflecting on his tumultuous life. He dictated his memoirs, shaping the narrative of his rise and fall for posterity. Napoleon, the once mighty emperor, died in exile in 1821 at the age of 51. Napoleon Bonaparte's legacy is complex and multifaceted. He was a military genius who revolutionized warfare, a ruthless dictator who crushed opposition, and a visionary leader who modernized France. His conquests redrew the map of Europe, spreading the ideals of the French Revolution and sparking nationalist movements across the continent. The Napoleonic Code, a comprehensive legal system, became a model for many countries and remains influential to this day. His reforms in education, administration and law laid the foundation for a modern French state. Napoleon's impact on France was undeniable, transforming it from a feudal kingdom into a centralized modern nation. However, his legacy is also one of bloodshed and conquest. Millions died in the Napoleonic Wars, leaving a continent scarred by conflict. His empire, built on military might and ambition, ultimately crumbled under its own weight. Napoleon Bonaparte's life was a paradox, a blend of brilliance and brutality, vision and ruthlessness. He remains a figure of endless fascination, a reminder of the transformative power of ambition, the allure of glory, and the enduring consequences of revolution. His legacy continues to shape our world, a testament to the enduring impact of one man on the course of history.